In the earliest days of human history, when people struggled against the harshness of nature and the whims of fate, there were souls who sought answers to the eternal question: how can one live a strong life without becoming cruel? Stoicism emerged as a guiding light in the darkness, teaching that true strength does not lie in wielding force to dominate, but in mastering oneself amidst every adversity. The adherents of this philosophy recognized that life is like a storm, and only by learning to stand firm in the wind and rain can one find peace. Through self-discipline, they proved that even when the world around is chaotic, the human spirit can remain as steadfast as a mountain, as radiant as a torch, and as vast as the ocean. The mighty Roman world once witnessed an emperor seated in a lavish palace, yet his mind wandered freely like a hermit. Marcus Aurelius, through his meditations, left a timeless reminder: true power does not reside on a throne, nor in an elite army, but in the ability to govern one's own thoughts and emotions. He knew well that if hatred seized the soul, one would become a slave to one's own anger. Yet, if one learns to perceive every misfortune as a lesson, one grows with calmness and clarity. This is what made him both a ruler of nations and a philosopher ruling himself, a paragon of the art of living strongly without cruelty. The Stoics understood that cruelty is merely the outer shell of weak souls. Those who wield violence to dominate are often masking fear and insecurity within. In contrast, the truly strong need not shout to assert power, nor suppress others to prove themselves. Their strength lies in serenity before praise and blame, steadfastness in the face of change, and compassion toward fellow beings. They believe that life is already harsh enough. Humans need not make it crueler. To live strongly is to face challenges with resilience, but to live nobly is to extend kindness even under the harshest circumstances. Imagine a slave, bound in chains, his body bruised from blows, yet his eyes shine like a fire that cannot be extinguished. That is Epictetus, once shackled, yet utterly free in spirit. He taught that no one can take away our peace unless we surrender it ourselves. With this philosophy, he demonstrated an extraordinary truth. Even in suffering, humans have the power to choose their attitude, and that choice, when born from serenity, wields more power than any whip or tyrant. It is a profound lesson that inner strength surpasses all forms of physical cruelty. For thousands of years, Stoicism has been more than a philosophy of a few thinkers. It has been a fire spreading through time. It teaches modern humans a precious art: to stand firm in a chaotic world without being swept into the whirlpool of cruelty. When we understand that life inevitably contains loss, failure, betrayal, we are no longer surprised by adversity. But when we learn to face it with equanimity, we become truly strong. And that strength, combined with compassion, transforms us into individuals capable of inspiring humanity, people who live powerfully, yet need not be cruel. There have been moments in history when humanity believed that power and domination through force would bring glory, only for time to prove the opposite. Empires built on violence eventually collapsed under the weight of their own cruelty. The Stoics long understood this law. An individual or a nation is truly enduring only when they balance strength with compassion. True power is not a sword raised in anger. It is the calm in dialogue, the patience in suffering, and the generosity from a position of authority. This is the art of living that Stoicism imparts to humanity. Real power is having the strength to act without needing to display it. In everyday life, not everyone is an emperor or a philosopher, yet all face trials, misunderstandings, insults, betrayals. Reacting with anger is to hand power to those who harm us. But if we maintain inner steadiness, facing events without being swayed by emotion, we become the true victors. The Stoics believed that no one can offend us unless we consent to be offended. Like a rock before the waves, it is not carried away. The water crashes and disperses, leaving the stone unmoved. That serenity is the invisible power that allows humans to live strongly without cruelty. A remarkable aspect of Stoic philosophy is its emphasis on the present. They teach that the past exists only as memory, the future only as speculation, and only the present is where we truly live. By focusing on this moment, we recognize there is no reason for cruelty. Cruelty stems from anxieties about the future or unhealed wounds from the past. Those who live in the present do not need the armor of aggression because they have discovered strength in presence itself. This mindfulness allows one to be steadfast yet gentle, strong yet compassionate, all at once. Looking back at history, we see that the greatest leaders were not those who triumphed through slaughter, but those who brought peace after war and order after chaos. Stoicism teaches that the greatest victory is the victory over oneself. Those who can govern themselves can govern destiny. This is why the writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca remain timeless. They are not only for a past era, but for anyone seeking answers to the most personal question: how to live with strength while preserving compassion. In the modern world, where work pressure, fierce competition, and the relentless pace of life can harden hearts, Stoic philosophy becomes more necessary than ever. It reminds us that we do not need to trample others to advance. True success does not come from proving oneself through cruelty, but from standing firm in every circumstance without losing kindness. When we are strong enough to restrain ourselves, wise enough to choose generosity over resentment, we find the path of greatness. And following that path fully, we become living testaments to the art of living strongly without cruelty. In the journey to find true strength, humans often mistake the suppression of emotions for resilience. But Stoicism does not teach us to deny feelings. It teaches us to master them. Sadness, anger, and fear are natural parts of life. The key is not to avoid them, but to observe them without letting them dictate our actions. The Stoic is like a skilled rider. They do not restrain the wild horse named emotion, but learn to hold the reins and guide it in the right direction. True strength is not the absence of feeling, but the ability to feel fully and yet remain serene. In a world where many choose cruelty for short-term gain, Stoicism offers a longer, more enduring path. It is the path of character building, of patiently forging the soul like steel. Seneca once reminded us that we cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Likewise, we cannot change every circumstance, but we can change our own attitude. When our mindset is steadfast, we become the captain of the ship of life, navigating through the fiercest waves without needing cruelty to prove our strength. Every day, modern life presents countless small yet relentless challenges. A colleague's criticism, a failed project, an unexpected loss. These moments can topple those who respond with anger or bitterness. But for the Stoic, every adversity is an opportunity for growth. They view hardships as stern yet benevolent teachers, for it is in difficulty that we discover the resilience of our inner world. And when we overcome them, we emerge not only stronger, but also more compassionate, understanding the depth of suffering and valuing the gift of kindness. Today's world is filled with stories of success painted in the colors of ruthless competition, of those willing to sacrifice everything to reach the top. But true success is not measured by the number of steps we climb, but by whether we retain a compassionate heart as we ascend. The Stoic affirms that strength does not equate to coldness. A leader may command with authority, yet still listen to the vulnerable. An entrepreneur may compete fiercely in the marketplace, yet remain fair. A person may endure hardship, yet choose to act with mercy. That is the greatest victory. Perhaps the deepest lesson of Stoicism is this: when we are strong without cruelty, we become a mirror for those around us. Cruelty may inspire fear, but only kindness can inspire trust. Stoics understand that the greatest legacy we leave is not wealth or power, but the way we lived among people. When we live with steadfastness, self-mastery, and compassion, our life becomes evidence that another path exists, a path where strength walks hand in hand with humanity. And it is this path that elevates humans to true greatness beyond the confines of time. Through every step of history, we encounter figures who seem small in stature, yet carry within them extraordinary spiritual strength. They are not the ones roaring on battlefields, but those who maintain serenity amid turmoil. The Stoics believed that this inner strength could spread like a fire, warming the hearts of those in despair. A single calm word can soothe tension. A compassionate act can dissolve resentment. And it is precisely these seemingly simple moments that reveal the art of living strongly without cruelty. In everyday life, we can practice Stoicism through small acts, accepting what cannot be changed, focusing on what is within our control, and keeping a clear mind in the face of temptation. When insulted, we choose silence over retaliation. When faced with loss, we choose learning over lamentation. When encountering success, we choose humility over arrogance. At first glance, these choices may appear weak, but in truth, they are the proof of a resilient inner life. Only those truly strong can act with genuine compassion. Stoicism does not urge us to withdraw from life, but to live fully in each moment. Living strongly means confronting reality, even when it is bitter. Living without cruelty means recognizing that in every circumstance, we can choose a path of kindness. This is why this philosophy continues to resonate across millennia, from the Roman Empire to the modern cities of today. Humanity, in any era, always needs a guiding light to live strongly without losing its virtue. When we gaze through the Stoic mirror, we realize that all true strength begins within. Status, wealth, and fame do not determine a person's worth. It is the ability to remain steadfast in the face of temptation. The Stoic lives as if each day is an opportunity to train. Every challenge ceases to be an enemy and becomes a lesson. Every difficulty ceases to be a burden and becomes a measure of the inner self. And it is this process of cultivation that shapes them into individuals who are strong without ever needing cruelty to prove themselves. Indeed, Stoicism is not merely a philosophy, but an art of living. This art is not flashy or loud, but quiet and steadfast, like the flow of a river, like the enduring cycles of the cosmos. The Stoic understands that life is a long journey, filled with perilous bends, towering peaks, and deep chasms. Yet instead of being swept away by fear or ambition, they choose to walk with composure. They carry the power of perseverance and compassion. And it is this that transforms their lives into living testimony that humans can live powerfully without resorting to cruelty. As we step into the 21st century, we may believe that science and technology have granted humanity control over everything. Yet reality shows that the human spirit remains fragile in the face of pressure, anxiety, and competition. It is precisely in this context that the wisdom of the Stoics becomes invaluable. Remember that while we cannot control everything, we can always control ourselves. This means that our true strength does not lie in conquering the world, but in mastering the soul. And when a person knows how to govern themselves, they no longer need cruelty to assert power, for their steadfastness becomes the most eloquent proof of all. Looking around modern society, we see many who confuse toughness with harshness. They believe that the colder they are, the stronger, the more indifferent, the more unshakable. But Stoicism exposes this as an illusion. True strength is not in freezing one's heart, but in expanding it while maintaining balance. The Stoic knows how to empathize without being swept into tragedy, to love without losing reason. This is the exquisite harmony of strength and compassion, the very essence of the Stoic art of living. There are moments that seem small, yet vividly reflect the Stoic spirit. A father quietly wiping away his child's tears instead of losing his temper when the child errs. A patient teacher guiding a clumsy student repeatedly. A friend choosing forgiveness over resentment. These simple acts are not recorded in history books, yet they constitute an enduring human value. The Stoic believes that such small gestures are the truest proof of strength, for they demand a mastery of self greater than any outwardly glorious victory. Behind the philosophy of Stoicism lies another essential message. Strength is not for destruction, but for support. When one wields power to dominate, they only sow fear. But when one uses strength to protect, inspire, and spread peace, they create lasting change. Thus, the art of living strongly without cruelty also means using one's strength to bring goodness into the world. And it is this that renders a life meaningful, transcending the limits of personal achievement. If one day we look back on our lives, what will make us smile? Not the wealth we have accumulated, nor the moments we proved ourselves through hardness. What makes us smile is when we lived strongly to overcome adversity, yet acted with kindness to avoid harming others. It is the moment we realize that, despite the storms of life, we chose to be a safe harbor for others to find refuge. And it is this choice that transforms an ordinary life into an extraordinary journey, full of strength and full of love. Throughout the course of human history, those who ruled through violence are often remembered as haunting shadows, while those who wielded wisdom and compassion are recalled as guiding lights. Stoicism does not seek to deny the existence of power, but it teaches us that strength only truly matters when it is used to build rather than destroy. Therefore, a life of strength does not require cruelty, but rather the courage to uphold compassion even in the face of trials. This is why Stoic thought has endured for millennia, standing as a testament to humanity's aspiration to live well. When confronted with the impermanence of life, Stoicism reminds us that everything we possess is temporary. Our bodies, wealth, fame, even our closest relationships can depart from us at any moment. Yet it is precisely this impermanence that imparts the lesson of true strength: to love fully, to live each day completely, and to let go when necessary. Those who embrace this truth need not resort to cruelty to hold on to what was never theirs, for they understand that real strength lies in acceptance and release. In today's world, marked by global crises, from wars and pandemics to climate change, we are constantly reminded of the fragility of human life. In such turbulence, it is easy to be swept into the whirlpool of fear and selfishness. Yet Stoicism offers a different path. Maintain inner peace, act with kindness, and choose to be part of the solution rather than the problem. A person's strength is measured not by how much fear they instill, but by how much trust and hope they spread to those around them. Perhaps what allows Stoicism to endure is its universality. Across all cultures and eras, humans have always needed a way to remain steadfast amidst life's storms. From the warriors of ancient Rome to modern city dwellers, all can find in Stoicism a guiding principle. Live strongly through inner resilience, and live kindly with an open heart. This harmony transforms Stoicism from merely a philosophy of the past into a key for the future. When we deeply understand the art of living strongly without cruelty, we realize that every action, every choice, can become a seed sown in the soil of humanity. By planting seeds of perseverance, we reap steadfastness. By planting seeds of compassion, we reap trust and love. And if we patiently tend that soil, the world gradually becomes better. True strength never resides in destruction. It always resides in creation. This is the immortal legacy that Stoicism bequeaths to all generations. Every human being carries within them two paths, one leading to strength coupled with compassion, and the other leading to power founded on cruelty. The path we choose shapes not only our personal lives, but also the world around us. The Stoics understood that if an individual chooses cruelty, they may achieve fleeting victories, but will lose the trust and love of others. Conversely, if they choose strength aligned with kindness, even in the face of countless hardships, they will leave a lasting, positive mark that transcends time. In every challenge, Stoicism urges us to ask, what is within my control and what is not? This seemingly simple question is the key to true power. We cannot control the attitudes of others, but we can govern our own reactions. We cannot change the storm, but we can strengthen our shelter against it. This discernment shields us from the temptations of cruelty, for anger and revenge never bring peace. True strength arises from the ability to maintain inner steadiness in the face of the unchangeable. Many fear that living with kindness will make them weak and easily exploited. But Stoicism demonstrates the opposite. Only those who are truly strong dare to live with compassion. Compassion is not weakness. It is a conscious choice made after seeing the true nature of life. A heart that loves, yet remains rational. A soul that forgives, yet remains steadfast. These are the symbols of enduring strength. When a person can be both firm and gentle, they become a steadfast mountain upon which others may rely. In the writings of Seneca, we find reminders imbued with this spirit. Live each day as if it were your last, but not in fear. Live with gratitude. Recognizing the limits of all things removes any reason for cruelty. Cruelty wastes our brief time, while compassion transforms each moment into a legacy. It is within this finitude that humans discover the power to live fully, to love, and to rise above petty grievances. The world may always harbor conflict, yet Stoic philosophy offers a different weapon: serenity and kindness. With it, there is no need to compete for every fleeting victory, no need to build a career upon the suffering of others. All we need is to live fully, with resilience and compassion. In doing so, we become not only strong individuals, but also contributors to a world where power no longer equates to cruelty. And that, truly, is the measure of humanity. Firm as steel, yet warm as sunlight. There are moments when life seems to test us with its harshest adversities. The loss of loved ones, the collapse of careers, the tarnishing of one's reputation. In such moments, many react with bitterness, using cruelty to vent their anger on others. But the Stoics are different. They view adversity as a forge. The hotter the fire, the stronger the steel. And the human soul, tempered through hardship while maintaining compassion, shines like a diamond. That strength needs no display, for its mere existence commands admiration. Observing modern society, countless examples show that cruelty is never a sustainable solution. A company may achieve short-term profit by exploitation, but it will crumble when it loses the trust of its customers. A leader may rule through fear, but will be overthrown when the people no longer respect them. Conversely, individuals or organizations that combine strength with kindness create lasting foundations. This proves that, in any era, Stoicism holds true. True power comes from earning trust, not instilling fear. What sets Stoicism apart from many philosophies is its practicality. It does not demand that we live as saints, nor does it require us to deny our human emotions. It merely asks us to practice daily, much like exercising our muscles. Each time we choose calm over anger, we train a new movement. Each time we choose forgiveness over resentment, we strengthen a fiber of our soul. Over time, this builds an inner fortitude. And once this strength is fully forged, there is no need for cruelty to protect ourselves. Many believe Stoic philosophy to be dry and detached from everyday life, but in truth, it is surprisingly close to us. It is present in the smile we give when faced with difficulty, in the patience we exercise while waiting, in the gratitude we feel for simple blessings. Each of these moments is a living testament to the art of living powerfully without cruelty. And as more people practice this, society gradually transforms, for serenity and compassion spread farther and faster than any violence ever could. When we look back on our lives, what brings true happiness is not the moments we proved our toughness, but the moments we stood firm while still offering love. The Stoics remind us that the greatest victory is not conquering others, but conquering the petty self within us. Upon reaching that victory, cruelty becomes unnecessary, for our true power manifests in peace and compassion. And that, ultimately, is the most precious legacy we can leave for the world. There is a paradox that Stoicism highlights. Those who seek to display cruelty to prove their strength are, in truth, the weakest within. Cruelty often springs from fear of being hurt, from insecurity, from the thought that one is not enough. The Stoics understand this deeply, so they do not need to strain themselves to prove anything. They know that steadfastness, self-control, and the ability to remain calm amidst upheaval are the most eloquent testimony to true strength. This is why they can walk through life's storms with a serene smile, untouched by the feigned toughness masked in cruelty. If we pay attention, we see that in ancient tales, the true hero is not always the one who wins the battlefield, but the one who brings peace after the fight. They do not merely kill to claim land. They know when to stop and build. This is the essence of Stoicism. Strength is not to prolong hatred, but to open the door to reconciliation. In this way, true might does not distance people from one another, but draws them closer. And that is the kind of power that endures through humanity. In modern life, the pressure to succeed makes many believe that only ruthless competition can lead them to the goal. Yet, when success is attained in this manner, they find themselves isolated, surrounded by suspicion and fear. Stoicism reminds us that genuine success is not standing atop the summit alone, but doing so with a peaceful heart and room for compassion. To achieve this, cruelty is unnecessary. One only needs to be strong in upholding one's values amidst the temptations of life. One of the most beautiful expressions of Stoicism is equanimity in the face of praise and criticism. People may exalt you today and turn away tomorrow, But the Stoic does not allow themselves to be lifted or pulled down by such waves. They understand that true value does not come from applause, nor is it lost to reproach. That value lies in how we live, how we act, and what we preserve within our soul. Such equanimity shields them from the spiral of cruelty, for they do not need force or cunning to maintain their image. They only need to live rightly, and truth itself will affirm their worth. Eventually, when one becomes accustomed to turning inward and finding strength within, they realize that all they once feared or fought for is insignificant. Inner peace becomes the most steadfast fortress, a stronghold no weapon can breach. The Stoic lives within that fortress, needing neither cruelty for defense nor violence for conquest. They only need mastery over themselves, and in doing so, they possess a strength that transcends all of life's turbulence. This is the art of living powerfully that humanity has always needed. Deep within every human soul lies a yearning to be respected and loved. Yet many mistake cruelty for power, believing it will make them feared and revered. They fail to see that fear only creates distance, while true respect emerges when others recognize in us a strength paired with kindness. The Stoics understand that sowing cruelty reaps loneliness, whereas sowing compassion cultivates enduring connection. In this way, strength transforms from a weapon into a bridge linking hearts. When facing the unavoidable tragedies of life, Stoicism teaches us to embrace them with equanimity. Death, loss, illness, these all lie beyond our control. Yet our response to them rests entirely in our hands. One who chooses cruelty may lash out in the face of suffering, but one who embraces Stoic strength transforms pain into wisdom, loss into growth. They walk through life not as victims of fate, but as teachers, sharing lessons drawn from their own experiences. Perhaps the greatest gift of Stoicism is the ability to find inner freedom. Unshackled from excessive desire, fear, and anger, we become liberated within our own minds. This freedom is not indulgence, but deliberate living, knowing clearly what truly matters. And when free, cruelty is unnecessary for self-protection, for nothing can bind us. This is the ultimate strength, the power of a soul at ease, calm amidst every storm. The Stoic lives not only for themselves, but as a model for future generations. They recognize that every action, every word, can plant seeds in the hearts of others. Living with strength and kindness sows trust and hope. Living with strength and cruelty only sows fear and hatred. And in retrospect, the most enduring legacy a person can leave is not conquest or achievement, but the manner in which they faced life, with serenity, steadfastness, and compassion. Thus, the art of living powerfully without cruelty is not merely the philosophy of ancient thinkers, but a timeless message for each of us today. In every choice, in every action, we have the chance to express our strength. Yet remember, true power does not lie in making others afraid. It lies in inspiring them and instilling hope. When we can be as unyielding as stone and as gentle as water, we become a living testament to Stoicism, a human being strong, yet never needing cruelty to prove it. When we reflect on the lessons of Stoicism, we realize they all converge on a single pivotal truth: mastery over oneself. The world outside may shift endlessly, but if we maintain an unwavering inner core, every upheaval is no more than a passing breeze. The Stoic does not seek to flee life, but to embrace it with clarity and presence. They understand that true strength does not come from suppressing or punishing others, but from rising above the frailties within oneself. This is the art of living that makes them enduring exemplars across time. In a society brimming with competition, we are often tempted to take the shortest path, cruelty. Yet that path, though it may offer fleeting triumphs, never delivers lasting peace. Stoicism points to another road, slower, yet steadfast. A road paved with perseverance, compassion, and enlightened wisdom. Walking this path, we need not trample others, for each step already stands as proof of inner strength. And once that strength is firmly established, nothing can shatter it. Imagine a person traversing a life of storms while maintaining a tranquil gaze, a gentle smile, and an open heart. Such a person is not untouched by suffering, but has learned to transform pain into power. They are like a mighty oak, weathering tempests while offering shade and shelter to all around. This is the living image of the Stoic, unassuming, free from cruelty, yet powerful enough to command admiration. It reminds us that true strength is inseparable from compassion. One of humanity's greatest traps is the obsession with power and control. The Stoic teaches that the greatest power is not external, but internal. We cannot compel others to love us, but we can choose to act with love. We cannot make others cease their insults, but we can choose not to be harmed by them. When we understand this, we no longer seek cruelty to seize authority, for we possess an inviolable power, self-mastery. And in the end, as we walk to the close of life's journey, we recognize the ultimate truth. Living powerfully without cruelty is not merely a philosophy, but a pledge to oneself. A commitment to live a life unshaken by hatred, unscathed by resentment, embracing instead serenity and kindness. By upholding this promise, we build not only a resilient life, but also leave the world an indelible legacy, a testament that true human strength does not lie in a clenched fist, but in a heart open to all. As we approach the final stretch of this journey, we realize that the art of living powerfully without cruelty is a symphony of wisdom and compassion. It is not some distant theory, but a guiding principle for every choice we make each day. How we respond when insulted, how we face failure, how we act when wielding power. Each answer has the potential to shape us into either a cruel being or a strong and benevolent one. And it is precisely these choices that determine the true measure of our lives. Stoicism does not promise a life free from suffering, for suffering is an inevitable part of the human condition. Yet Stoicism grants us eyes to observe pain with calm, and a heart to transform it into strength. In that calm, we need not resort to violence to mask our fears. We can walk gently, guided by steadfast trust. This is the power of a person who knows they cannot control everything, yet always controls the way they choose to live. When we achieve this, we understand that cruelty has never been necessary. The ancient Stoic philosophers may have departed from the world thousands of years ago, yet their thoughts resonate like an eternal ringing bell. In a chaotic world where people easily lose themselves in the whirl of power and desire, Stoicism reminds us to return to the core, live powerfully, but never forget compassion. This is not only the way of the philosopher, but also the path for all of us, ordinary people seeking peace amidst the rush of life. If there is a legacy we can leave for future generations, it is this lesson. Strength need not be synonymous with cruelty. We can teach our children perseverance and courage, but we must also teach them compassion and empathy. When these values are passed down, humanity will grow not only in knowledge and technology, but also in the maturity of the soul. And then the world will truly become a place worth living, a place where strength walks hand in hand with love. Finally, As we close this reflection, we understand that the art of living powerfully without cruelty is Stoicism's invitation to each of us. It is an invitation to embark on the journey of self-discovery, to find the latent strength within our souls, and from that, to radiate kindness into the world. When each of us lives in this way, the world diminishes in fear and blossoms in trust and hope. This is the eternal meaning of Stoicism, not an ancient philosophy, but a light illuminating the path of living powerfully, yet never needing cruelty.